Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 4 of the Ben and Jen show. I'm really sorry to say that we've had technical difficulties that have stopped us from being able to do the live stream on YouTube. I don't know why. I've done it absolutely fine a couple of times before, and tonight it just seems to be glitching out. So I do apologize that you weren't able to listen to us live. There is some important content I need to get out to you. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to crack on. I'm trying to bring Jen in on the call as well. She's currently in Florida and she's on a phone. The signal at the airport's not particularly good, so the video stream for her is pretty poor and the sound quality pretty poor. So rather than try and have a half-baked episode, I'm just going to share with you the information that I've got to share. And if Jen can get on and she can speak and it's a nice clear video stream, nice clear audio, then that's wonderful. If not, then it will just be me until next week when we find a better piece of software that we can integrate with our live stream. Okay, because lots of people do it, don't they? So I'm sure that we'll find the way. Okie doke. So the first thing that I want to do is say, Jen, can you hear me at all? If not, then like I say, I'll just carry on. So can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear.
Okay, right. Well, I think we just keep it as it is. Okay, I've obviously stopped the live stream so that we're not getting that terrible feedback, but you are really broken. And I think it's probably the signal around the airport that's causing that, because normally you're crystal clear when you're at home. So yeah, we'll probably arrange to do these when you're back at your home, because the signal there is perfect. So if you can't contribute, don't worry too much tonight. I'm going to just record this episode and then we'll put this out and then we'll find something else midweek to maybe talk about when you're back settled at home. Okay. All right, then here we go, guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share the screen with you and just have a little talk to you about some of the Lumenswap news. So the first thing that I'm going to do is just pull this up and I'm going to share that with you. We'll wait just for a couple of seconds because normally it takes a little bit of time for the screen share to come through, but we are recording this now so that you can watch this on catch up. Okay, I'm sad to say that you can't see Jen and she can't really have a good conversation with you, but like I say, we need to get the information out, so let's keep going. So Lumenswap weekly news, I've broken this down into 5 parts. Okay, and these are really 5 important parts that you need to be aware of that's been happening since the last time we did a Ben and Jen's Lumenswap show. A couple of these are just messages in message format. And then a couple of these are things that have happened on Twitter and updates and announcements. So the first one of these is from Vlad, who's our CEO and co-founder. And this was on our Discord. So Vlad, we were having some pretty decent in-depth conversations over the last week within the Telegram and within the Discord about how can we leverage NFTs? How can we piggyback on this explosion that's happening at the moment? Do we have a yield bearing NFT drop? So do we have something like 100 official Lumenswap NFTs, and then those are sold, and then that bootstraps the liquidity for the bridges that we've got coming to Binance Smart Chain, Ethereum? Do we have it as if we're just like, creating some for fun? Or do we have some that are smart NFTs? There's so many different angles that we can go down. And what we had as a real surprise was that Vlad had said, hi guys, I've read your messages. We have been working, on a part related to NFT for some time. When it is ready, I'll share more information about it with you. This isn't on our roadmap. So this isn't anything that's on Lumenswap's roadmap at all, right? So for people that are outside the team Discord, you won't have seen this. It's completely and utterly new to you. We don't know at this time what it is, but if they've been working on it from the development side for some time, you can expect it to be pretty decent, because everything that they've launched so far has been timely, and it's been a really good addition to the whole Lumenswap ecosystem. So I'm excited about that. And that's why I've put that as number 1. Not that these are in any particular sequence, but I've put that as number 1 because that really kind of stuck out to me. I thought if Lumenswap start harnessing NFTs in some way, that is only going to add, that's not going to subtract value. That is going to add a layer of value to the project. So I'm really, really fired up about what that will be when that information comes out. Of course, you're going to hear it first on the Ben and Jen's Lumenswap show. Next piece of information, and again, this is this morning, right? So this is, no one knows about this besides myself and Vlad, and of course the top tier team. And that is that 2 new exchange listings are coming. And they are coming, I've blacked out when they're coming, but they're coming in the short term. That will be then 7 exchange listings. Okay, 7 exchange listings in the space of, what are we talking now? 7 weeks, is it? I think, since token launch. So 7 weeks and 7 exchange listings it shows the intention of the team. And you know, for me, that's, you know, it's I think that I will come on to, because it comes on to the fundamental analysis that I'm going to come on to in a minute. But for me, it showed that intention gives confidence. When you see a team that are wanting to get onto like CoinMarketCap, wanting to get on CoinGecko, wanting to list on exchanges, wanting to increase their, you know, their community, wanting to increase volume, liquidity of the pairs with LSP. For me, it gives a lot of confidence when I'm looking at a project. So we can see that's the first part of point 2. The second part of point 2 is the AMMs, something that's on everyone's lips at the moment if you're in the Stellar space, because we're having all of these bits of news, everything's coming out, and it's really, really exciting. And here, we've completed our work. We're waiting for Stellar Network to add it. So everything from Lumenswap side is done. He did say to me, Vlad did say to me, that as soon as Stellar say we're good to go with the AMMs, then we are good to go. Instantaneous was his actual words, instantaneously, instantly, right? So as soon as, it's not going to be a case of Stellar saying, okay, we can do yield farming, then the lag of 2-3 months, then Lumenswap go live with their yield farming. There's going to be this period, the period is going to be instant. So as soon as Stellar say go, we are there, which is brilliant, because that means it's going to offer you the ability to put liquidity pool tokens in and get a yield, yeah, from providing liquidity to the Stellar network. Amazing, amazing. Point number 3 is from a security perspective that's happened in the last week. We're now able to use Xbull wallet on the Lumenswap interface. Now, people might go, well, you know, is that a biggie? Is that a big thing? Yes, because it allows us to integrate our Nano, or our Ledger Nano X's, S's, and our Trezors, so our cold storage hardware wallets, directly with the Lumenswap interface. For me, it's a really, really big deal that you've got that extra layer of security. And you've also got that extra layer, like a multi-sig on your transactions, because you have to obviously confirm it through your Ledger device or your Trezor device. So it's not just a case of confirming it inside the wallet. The transaction also gets confirmed a second time on your device. So it's giving you an extra layer of security, and it's meaning that you can store and that you can interact right from your Ledger into Lumenswap. So you can buy your LSPs, etc., and you can store your XLM assets right there. So that's amazing, an amazing addition. I've done a couple of videos on my Boring Crypto channel. So it's an amazing addition to the Lumenswap kind of suite of wallets. I think the next thing that we need to be looking at is having a mobile wallet. Yeah, that's the next kind of evolution in terms of wallets. A decent mobile wallet that then people can use Lumenswap from their mobile device. Because what this will do is this will allow us then to justify the word inclusion. What I mean by that is that we can't say we're going to be inclusive to everyone when people in the developing world, I mean, there's about, 7.8 billion people on the planet. And there are 2/3 of those people surviving on less than $10 a day. They don't have desktops or iMacs and, MacBooks and God knows what. They don't have that. they have a mobile device. Most of those people still have mobile devices. If they can get a mobile, like an Android and iOS wallet, and then they can connect that wallet to Lumenswap, well, then when we start bringing more of our features to the table, so our lending, our borrowing, our AMMs, our auction platforms, and things that we've got in, you know, the NFTs that have been talked about and things like that in the future, we can spread that out to a lot more people. And we can justify that word of inclusive. Until we have a mobile wallet, we cannot do that, right? And we need one of those. In my opinion, remember, I'm not speaking with the team here, in my opinion, very quickly, before Christmas, we need to have a mobile wallet inclusion. And then that will be really, really cool. So that's number 3, that we've got export and the Nano and the Ledger, which is great. Number 4, that there is Justin Rice, Vice President of Ecosystems for the Stellar Development Foundation, SDF. And he did a 2-minute video. I think everyone that saw it, if you haven't seen it, go across to Stella's Twitter, watch it. Really cool guy. And he was talking about how excited he is at his level, VP level, of the incoming automated market makers and what they're going to do for Stellar. How all of a sudden everything is kind of, if people understand exponential growth, yeah, what's going to happen there is you are going to get the growth come along, which has been happening since I think 2014 for Stellar. You know, they've been building and no one's really been paying attention. The price hasn't really been doing anything, and people have kind of been like, oh, what's going on? You know, and it's been going across. And then there's been like this start of this exponential growth curve in how many kind of features and functionalities are being added to Stellar now. And you could tell from his tone, he's really excited about what's coming. So that piece of news there is not directly a Lumenswap piece of news, but it's an indirect Lumenswap piece of news, because they're saying this is, you know, right here, we're on the front doorstep of automated market makers and these liquidity pools on Stellar, which is bloody amazing. And it's going to make a huge difference. As I said, that exponential growth of the price, of how many people, developers that come across and start building, of the liquidity that comes into Stellar, which has always historically been a problem, is going to be, you know, like I say, it's just going to go like this. And I'm predicting Q4 2021 is when this is going to start really kicking in hard. And that's going to drag all of the native, or the serious, not all of them, but all of the serious native tokens for the different projects on Stellar with it. So when XLM blows, it's going to drag the rest with it. And then 5, here in number 5, we've got this Stellar Core 18.00 RC1. That is a beta of Protocol 18 that is live. So that's how close we are. When you combine everything that I've just said to you, that's how close that we are to see the start of this growth curve. And as I say, I think that that's going to be super, super cool. You know, it's going to make such a difference. I don't think any of us realize how, you know, how much this can impact Stellar. If we look at the top, TVLs on the DeFi network, so you've got ETH at like, you know, plus 85 billion. You've got Solana that's right up there, I think 17 billion or something like that. You've got the Terra Money whole ecosystem, which is going to blow up as well, in the next few weeks with Columbus 5. So you've got that, you've got Polygon, you've got Avalanche, and you've got Aave going on to Avalanche imminently. You know, you've got about 170 billion in locked TVL. We're going to have 2 bridges to Binance Smart Chain and to ETH, which are the 2 biggest TVL in DeFi. We're going to have bridges to those, so we can bring in those DeFi apes and you know, degenerates, and bring them in to Stellar so they can start coming from that side. And we're also going to make it nice and easy for people to come in from the other side, from the no coiners and non-crypto peeps, to come into the space as well. So, you know, it's really like an insane time for us, an insane time. So that's the 5 pieces of news from the last 9 days since we did a Ben and Jen show. I'm going to try and speak to Jen. Jen, did you hear any of that? And if so, what are your thoughts on it?
I heard all of it. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Are you able to hear me? Okay, I'm outside. I think that's absolutely huge. I love that we're able to use the ledger now. That's big. And a phone wallet is really, really, really going to help us out. I agree with that so much. Extra bullish on it. Like, I'm hyped. There's so much coming. It's going to be so good. So good for Lumenswap and Stellar.
And what do you think with regards to the, like, so I know that you're bang into your NFTs, what's your kind of take on the NFT news as well?
Yes, I did. I just think that that's completely huge. I love that you can mint NFTs and everything on Stellar. And it kind of broke up a little bit with what you were saying, but you're going to be able to do that now from Lumenswap. Did I hear you correctly?
Well, we don't have any information really from the CEO, but I mean, all it's saying is the development side are working on some kind of NFT integration into Lumenswap. So we don't really know, how it's going to pan out, but we know that it's going to be involved. And I know that you've got a real love for NFTs. So, I mean, that could be massive, couldn't it?
Right, it is. And I love on Stellar because on Stellar Mint, everything is so cheap, right? It's not like you have to worry about Ethereum and the high gas prices and everything like that. So I think that it's going to be a lot more cost efficient. And I think a lot more artists are going to be able to put their work out and make NFTs a lot more affordable for most people.
Yeah, definitely. I think that Light Mint being like that platform, there's some real talent on there, making some incredible NFTs. And I know that there's obviously so many different networks and so many different ideas, exploding at the moment. But yeah, if Lumenswap can kind of come up with something that, can maybe shine some light on them artists and, do some stuff themselves, I think that's only going to add value, don't you, over the sort of midterm?
Oh, absolutely. And it would be great if, like, on the wallet, on the soft app, where we could just keep our collectibles right in there as well. I would love that. Did you see the Luminauts that were made yet? There's this artist is making Luminauts. They're so dope.
The ones with like the ears on the helmets.
Yes. There's like degenerate ones smoking a cigarette and everything. I love them. They're so dope. I love them.
Yeah, that's a big shout out to, I think it's Andrew. I can't think what his surname is, but like, yeah, Bull's always promoting him and saying that he's a good guy. And he's actually made me one. I said that because obviously being in the ape in, I was like, damn, I missed this like ape NFT that he had done. And he actually like did another kind of drop with a couple of other ones. So I bought one off him. So he's a really talented guy, the guy that's done those Luminaut things. But yeah, the cigarette and the kind of space helmet with the crack in it, I think that's, yeah, it's really, really cool. But yeah, this is a great week. I feel like it's almost like a tipping point, like in England, we have like a seesaw like this, right? With the pivot in the middle, the kids go on. And I think we're kind of like at a point now where, we're kind of at this point. And as soon as this happens, all of this,
like if you sat down and flew somebody off.
Say again.
Like if you sat on the seesaw and there's a little person and you just flipped them off.
Yeah, exactly. Like kind of a twang and that person goes. Or when you get to the tipping point and you just have like all of this value that just comes into the space at once. I mean, we're talking about NFTs, we're talking about yield farming, just around the corners, the auction for Lumenswap, and having like, different projects build with Lumenswap so that they can, get some exposure and use the auction platform. All of this stuff is kind of like gonna just pour into Lumenswap almost within like a space of a month or 3 months. You're going to get lots of this stuff being added.
And what I saw with the auction too, it's nice because Lumenswap will screen the projects to try to protect the investors and everything. So I think that's all really smart.
Yeah, I think it's like, trying to helping out different projects. I mean, different people that are, wanting to kind of build. I think if they are bringing some value to the ecosystem, you know, it's right for us to be saying, shining some light on them and saying, look, you know, come under our fold. We'll kind of help you. We've got some great people in our team. We can expose you to the right area, you know, the people that you need to speak to, and kind of try and, you know, be a real kind of beacon of light for different projects, you know, genuine projects that are trying to build on Stellar. And, you know, because there's going to be plenty coming when the you know, the DeFi tools open up. There's going to be plenty of projects start coming, and they're going to be wanting to build. And if we can have that accelerator and incubator, that's going to really kind of help a lot of cool projects get some exposure too.
Exactly. And I think it's so much easier to build on Stellar than any other network. It's going to be huge. People do not realize how big Stellar is. And honestly, I feel like this last quarter, just what I feel is going to be really big. I mean, to me, when I look at Stellar, I feel like it's due to go parabolic soon. But it's not just about that. People worry about the price too much. It's everything that comes along with it and is built on it. People don't know about these gems, and just even they can create all the custom pairs on Lumenswap, and just they have no idea what's out there. There's so much. I'm obsessed.
Yeah, I think I'm the same. Like, the more I actually look and the more I listen, the more I'm kind of really bullish on the whole ecosystem. I'm the same as you. I think I kind of don't get too excited now with regard to price. It doesn't bother me in the short term because I think I'm not actually going to be selling. You know, if it goes up 2 cents today, I don't really care, because like, I'm not selling in the short term. I'm actually accumulating during these low prices. But when you look at the whole, not just Lumenswap, but the whole Stellar ecosystem and all the jigsaw pieces they're putting in, you think it's only going to be time. It's only time before, you know, the power of what's going on is just felt by everyone, isn't it? And I mean, the like you say, the speed, the low cost, to be able to do like 1 million operations on the network for like $3. I mean, it's just like
Right? And it's so simple to swap versus normal people don't know how to go on to like pancake swap and all that other stuff. You know, basic people don't. But if you're trying to launch a coin and you just want to make it really simple for people, I mean, this is the way to go. Stellar is so easy to swap on. Like, Lumenswap makes that soft wallet. It's going to be huge. It makes it so much more simple for people. I'm so excited.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I totally agree. So all of those news pieces for the last week have really just compounded, you know, what we're talking about. Those 5 news pieces are gonna make a big difference. And I think that in the next week, I think each week is going to get, you know, incrementally more exciting. You know, we're going to be talking about like, oh, wow, you know, now that we've launched farming and we've got this stuff, you know, and we're going to be able to talk to people about different strategies on like the farming. And then there's going to be like the accelerator and the incubator of the auctions. And we'll be talking about that. And it's just going to go from like, you know, like a snowball going down a mountain, isn't it? You know, just picking up speed.
Yes, people are early. They don't realize how early they are. And for Lumenswap to get in early with one of these projects, I mean, it could change your life. It really could.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a conversation that's being had as well all over the Telegram, the Twitter, you know, where getting in early. I mean, you know, when we start looking at the fundamentals of Lumenswap and saying to ourselves that this can dramatically transform people's lives. So you know, we're really lucky to be in at such a grassroots level, right? So okay, what I'm going to do, Jen, because I know that you've got to shoot onto your plane and you've got to get yourself sorted out. So I'm going to wave goodbye to you, because I'm going to just do a little bit about fundamental analysis. So on the recording, you can just skip to this part and you can just check that out. It's really great that we did manage to get you on the call. I was quite concerned we wouldn't be able to do it because of technical problems, but great to speak to you.
We'll get it next week. We know we will.
Yeah, exactly. Like next week when you're back home and you're settled and everything like that, then we'll have to we'll sort some of those things. These things happen, don't they? In our space, we'll sort out a solution. No problem.
All right. Well, I will tune to this. Thank you so much, Ben. I will see you later.
Yeah. Have a really good flight. Yeah. Be safe, and we'll catch you soon.
Yeah. All right. Bye.
Bye. All right. So Jen's off, and she is rocking and rolling her way from Florida all the way back up to her home on the East Coast, I believe, somewhere on the East Coast. So yeah, best wishes to her. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a different screen share. We're going to bob across back onto the keynote that we had for the news, but I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about a couple of other bits. So let's share that for you, and I'll move down to the other slide. Okay, so I know again that there's a little bit of a lag when you screen share. But this is fundamental analysis for beginners. This is something that I promised you, something I've worked on, something I promised you, the Lumenswap community, back earlier in the week, and said it's going to be something we're going to be talking about. And we're going to get Jen's take on fundamental analysis when she hasn't got to jump on a flight, she hasn't got a board. We all know how stressful that can be at the moment. So her take will be next week. She'll add her bits as well. In short, I want to make this for beginners. I don't want to blow people's minds. Yeah, it's easy to blow people's minds when we start going in-depth crypto. Yeah, people are like, whoa, what's he talking about? My job is to take something complex, break it down into layman's terms so that people can kind of understand it. If you're here for super technical, you're not going to get super technical, right? This isn't about super technical. This is about delivering some information that you can understand at a beginner's level. And then you can go off and you can start learning how to make decisions for yourself, doing your own research, etc. Now, none of this, what you're going to see is financial advice. I have to say that all of the time. Not financial advice. It's what I found works for me over the years of being in crypto, which is 4+ years now. All of these things work for me. If they work for you, great. If they don't, let them be part of your research, okay? If you have a much more in-depth research, great. If you're just beginning and you don't really know how to research, this could well be for you. Okay, so in short, the fundamental analysis is a way for us to measure the value of a coin or token. What a coin is essentially a native crypto, yeah, for a network. Yeah, that's the way to look at it. So it's got its own blockchain. Well, a token is a crypto that sits on top of someone else's network. So let's just look at Lumenswap. Lumenswap is a token. It sits on top of Stellar. Stellar is a coin. Yeah, it's native. It's got its own network. So that's kind of just a way to really kind of just understand it. If you're looking at Bitcoin, Bitcoin is a coin, obviously. Yeah, it's not a token. Ethereum or Ether is a coin, but the ERC20 tokens are tokens. They sit on top of the Ethereum network. Yeah, just try and think of it as like train tracks and carriages. Yeah, the train track is the network, the carriage is your token. So the value of a coin and token, so you can decide whether it's worthy of your investment. Now, there's a few things we've got to weigh up with regard to this. We've got to think to ourselves, is this overpriced? Yeah, is this underpriced? Has this already had its day? Is its day still to come? There's lots of things rattling around our head, isn't there? You know, when we're starting to think, you know, is this going to, you know, what people say, when moon? Is this going to moon? Why, you know, after I've bought it? Has that already happened? You know, am I going to lose money? Am I buying at the top and then people are going to sell and it's going to crash down? I'm going to lose my investment. There's lots and lots of things that we're trying to work out when we're new into crypto. So what I'll do is I'll just blast over to my kind of rough list. As I said, please don't expect, you know, something too in-depth, because this is to start you off. Fundamental analysis, and these are areas of focus. We need to look at the tokenomics. We need to look at the team. We need to look at the value proposition. And again, if that's too technical for you, what the solution is. What's this trying to do? What's it trying to achieve? And who the competitors are. Is it going toe-to-toe with, you know, Ethereum? Is it going toe-to-toe with Solana or, you know, Binance Smart Chain, or, you know, what's this, you know, who are the competitors? Then the next part is the roadmap, the white paper and the documents. It could be all three. It could be that you've got a roadmap and some documents. It could be you've just got a white paper at the minute. It could be a combination of all or one of those. You just have to wait and see, depending on the project that you're looking at. Then we're looking at timely development. If they have got a roadmap and it tells you a certain date, then we need to be looking at making sure that's timely. The dates, if it's Q3, it happens in Q3 and not Q3 of the following year. Something's gone wrong, the planning is bad, and that can be negative towards the project. Community, are the community alive? Are they active? Do you go onto their social channels and go back and it says March 2019 and you're like, hey, like nothing's gone on for like 2.5 years. Like, what's going on here? And you do find projects like that that have just come around and they've just disappeared and they've vanished. The social channels might still be gathering dust, but they've just disappeared. So it's very important that we have a look to see how active the community are. And with the community, I will obviously come on to this a little bit more in a little bit more detail, but and also with the community, what's the vibe? What's the vibe in the community? Is the vibe positive? Is the vibe negative? Is there loads of FUD? Are people calling out the devs and saying, look, what's going on? Are people like, or so super excited like we are at Lumenswap about what's going to be happening? And I'm using Lumenswap here as a case study. Because I work for the team here, I'm going to try and be, as objective as I possibly can. And I'm, going to be showing you why that I think it's a really good idea that you pay some attention to Lumenswap. So it's a case that, but you could take this, you can lift this model and you can put it into any crypto that you so wish. It will work. Okay, it will work. So this is like a, all-encompassing training. It's not just specific to Lumenswap. Then we've got volume and analytic tools. So things like CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko, and we got Delta, haven't we? And what used to be Blockfolio, FTX now. Yeah, so these are like the mobile analytics prices and everything we have on our mobiles, charts, etc. Drew is another one, quite good charts and technical analysis if you're into the technical side. So you can have all them on your phone, and then of course we can have the trading view. We can have all of the different analytics and charting software, on our desktops. Then we look at the market cap. We're looking at on-chain. What on-chain means, everything's happening on the blockchain. How many wallets, how many transactions, how many trades? Is the project alive? Is the project dead? What's been happening today? Everything. Yeah. Are there people that are buying and selling? Are the hodlers, are they increasing? And delve into that. I mean, you can go pretty deep with on-chain metrics. You can really delve into it. And then experience. And what I mean by this is not the experience of the team. It's the experience of you. What's your experience? You sometimes, and I'm not often wrong now, but I've made a lot of mistakes on the way, sometimes get a sixth sense that goes, avoid. And you can't put your finger on what it is. There's just something that you get a sense that something's off. And then it kind of like moons or something, and you go, okay, I was wrong. But a lot of the time, that sixth sense, that intuition is absolutely right. So with your experience in looking at projects, you'll start to find little things that you look for. Start thinking, okay, I want to look for this, 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 and tick these off. Some people want to go into, a heavy depth. Really, I mean, like some people will go into team and then they'll go into like their universities and the year that they were there and like, really granular. And other people are like, I'm not as bothered with what university you went to or letters after your name as I am that you can have timely development on a project or, that works. If it looks good and it works and it does what it says on the tin, I don't really care whether you went to MIT, Oxford University, or a local college. You get the idea. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go through and I'm going to stop sharing this and I'm going to share some tabs in on my Brave browser and go through some of this stuff. So I've written this down in my notepad and I'm going to try and go through it in this same sequence. And then we can just have a look at what I would look for. I'm trying to do, don't forget, this is what you would do over multiple days. You're not just going to do a fundamental analysis on an investment and you're going to do it in the time it's going to take me to do this video. You're going to do it in multiple days and you're going to go into depth in certain areas and you are going to then be in a much better position. I feel education cuts through most of scams. If you're educated and you've got a little bit about you upstairs, then you can cut through a lot of these scams because you'll know exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to rip your money out of your hand as quickly as possible and bring you no value. They want your crypto and they'll do anything to try and get it as elaborate as it is. Okay, so you've got the education, you know what to look for, you can start combating against that. Okay, so let's stop sharing this one. Stop sharing here. Let's share another one and let's share some Brave browser and let's share that. Okie doke. I'm going to start off on the, what do we say, tokenomics. So the tokenomics are right here in front of us. We can find those in the documents. Documents are a great place to start. I have already put down value proposition, sorry, the roadmap white paper and documents. Start the documents, read through. Are they quite elaborate? Are they, you know, just skimming over the top? Do they give you details about what's happening, or are they like, you know, kind of just a lot of fluff? You know, I've had so many bad experiences with marketers, you know, going to seminars and they're like, run to the back of the room and buy these 3 courses that we've got left. And we've really got another 300 courses for the rest of them that come. You get that idea. So you kind of get white papers like that as well. And you're like, whoa, you know, like, I can feel that there's like a hard sell coming here or some kind of scam or something like that. And then you get quite open documents where you can go in, you can read, and you can understand. When I first came into crypto, there was 2 real things that I found. One was you get extremely technical white papers that are designed for mathematicians and developers. They will go into equations and they will go into a real in-depth level that's way above my pay grade. Yeah, as an investor, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. I don't understand it. Yeah, I don't understand that when they start coming into, you know, how the emissions are going to be worked out, and there's like some kind of developer's sort of equation there. Doesn't do anything for me. I need to have it in a language that I understand, and I think that no coiners and people that are entering crypto need to have that language as well. So this beginner's guide to fundamental analysis is kind of aimed at understanding the documents is crucial, rather than just having like loads of jargon and stuff that you don't understand. So here we've got the asset, yeah, the LSP asset, and we can see the tokenomics broken down. 1 billion complete fixed supply. And what this is, the fixed supply, is there are never going to be any more. You'll see total supply and fixed supply and circulating supply banded around. Circulating supply, the tokens that are out at the moment, yeah, they're not locked down in any sort of vesting schedule or anything. They are the ones that are circulating in people's wallets, buying and selling, you know, and that kind of thing. And then you have the total supply, and the total supply is often put down by teams where there isn't a fixed supply, so they can keep minting. They can keep minting. They can change that total supply and they can bring in another 500 million or billion in the future. That's also very dangerous because, again, you could get to a price point of the token that's, you know, very positive, and then they mint some more. And if they're less than, you know, if they're a bit dubious, the team, they mint some more at that point, and of course, then they can really dump the price, can't they? Because they can sell a huge chunk of these tokens, drop the price. Yeah, and so you've got to be a little bit wary with that total supply. A lot of projects, Ethereum being one, it doesn't have a fixed supply. It doesn't have a fixed supply. It has this system now, doesn't it, with the burn systems, burning some gas, right, to try and bring the emissions down and all that sort of thing. So it goes into a deflationary model. These are quite technical. We need to be looking and thinking to ourselves, you know, for security purposes, I like to think or look at projects. If they've got a fixed supply, I know there's never going to be any more tokens. That gives me that little bit of a security. Yeah, but I'm not saying that, you know, total supplies don't work. They do, but we're in the right environment. Okay, in the right environment. But a lot of these tools that we're going to look at, they won't tell you. They won't tell you what the circulating supply is, maybe. They won't tell you what the total supply is. They won't, the analytics tools won't give you that information. So we need to get into the documents. So we need to say to ourselves, okay, you know, what can we take out? What are the nuggets out of the documents? And start writing down and making a bit of a plan. Okay, I've got the total supply. I've got the fixed supply from the documents, the tokenomics. And then here, another thing that I really like is that when we come down, they've got the vesting schedule for the different tokens. When we have a look, you know, over the 10-year period, we can see how the emission rate is going to work. So just to give you an example here, if we came across to 1 year, there are going to be no more than around about 375, I guess, this point here, middle point of these two. So about 375 million tokens after 1 year. 2 years, we're going to be looking at about 550, aren't we? So 250 is only be 550 million. So this is going to enable us to work out market caps, work out growth and projections and this kind of thing. So we can take that information and then we can start adding it into our little plan that we're making, yeah, so our fundamental analysis. Here, we have to be aware that this foundation number, so the 16% that we have here, foundation 16%, which is going to be unlocking linearly over 2 years, so I'm going to get my words out eventually, over 2 years. This green section, that is. Now, look, you see this green section foundation? Now, this is not being released at the moment. That's still in conversation because it's not going to the foundation at the moment. So we don't know what's happening. So what is something you need to be aware of here is that it's not going to be anywhere near this 375. If we take out this chunk, this is going to drop down a lot lower, and we're probably only going to be in the region of around about 250 million tokens after a year. Also, we have this marketing wallet. So we can have 25 million tokens every 3 months released. And the team, the top tier team, have said, we're not going to sell these tokens if we don't need to. They have sold around about 11 million tokens, and we're going to have a look at that in a second, about 11 million tokens to date. And they have 25 million that they can sell by the end of October. That's the first 3 months from token generation event. With that being said, if they can sell 25, they haven't even sold half, and there is only like 4 weeks left. So in 2 months, they haven't even sold half. We would anticipate that they aren't going to sell the whole 25 million. It's going to be less than that. So if it's less than that, then this will be further down because they won't have used, look, the marketing, the orange, this part at the top, they won't have used these tokens in their entirety. They would have used less. So again, pulls down the emission rate. It will be down here somewhere. So we're now at like 220, 230, maybe in that kind of vicinity. So all of a sudden, when we come to the documents and we look at 375 million after a year, that's not the case. It won't even be 300 million. It will be less than that. And let's talk about these foundation tokens being burnt potentially. We need to be keeping on top of the socials to understand what's going to be happening with them, because it's going to make a big difference whether we think that we're going to invest. Don't forget, if the price got to £1 here, or sorry, a dollar, crypto talk, $1 here, then that's $375 million market cap, right? Because you times the price by the circulating supply. So that's 375. If it doesn't, if we're down here and we're only at 230 to 220, 230, and it goes to $1, that's only a market cap of 220, 230 million. That's a hell of a lot of difference in terms of market cap, is it not? So these are the things where I'm saying you've got to be looking and thinking to yourself, right, I'm reading the documents, I'm understanding how the emission schedule's working. Now I'm thinking, if it gets to it, is there likelihood that it could get to $1? Is a 220 million market cap for a swap of this kind of size reasonable? We'll come on to it in a minute. Okay, so that's the kind of tokenomics. If we move across, we come down to team, and the team here are some of us, like myself, who is there, look, community educator. You can see me, right? So I'm doxed. Yeah, you can see who I am. My name's there. You know, you can go and, find out information about me if you so wish. You can look at these other guys if you so wish, but they're not showing their face. They're not saying hello every day. They're not giving you their link to their LinkedIn. Now, that's problematic for some people. That really is problematic. Back in the day in 2017 and the ICO boom, it used to be, right, check the team, make sure they've gone to somewhere prestigious to get their qualifications. And then I kind of thought, well, I don't really care. Yeah, I'm not one that like judges people on letters after their name. I need to like see what those people are capable of. Have they been in the space for a while? Have they contributed to other projects? Do they know what they're talking about? It's evident that the team here know what they are doing. Yeah, that we've got great advisors. We've got really, knowledgeable developers who have built a product already. So this takes me on to the next thing that you should have a look at. And that is, back in the day, the ICO boom of 2017, they would do a token generation event, which is called a TGE. Yeah, if you've ever heard that terminology, that's what it is. They would do a TGE, and they would do that TGE to then bootstrap the funding to get the project live. So they would kind of say, we need X amount of money or crypto to get us to market. A lot of times, a lot of projects came way short Because as soon as you kind of start saying you're a crypto project, everyone seems to add a naught on. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Everything's so overpriced. It's scandalous. But they got this system where they were trying to raise money without really having a nailed on business plan of how much everything's going to cost, marketing, development, you know, partnerships, how much they were going to have to put into all of these different areas. And they ran out of money. Of course, then they ran out of money after already doing something, you know, a token generation event. Then that was it. The project kind of died a death. And there's so many examples. I can give you examples of that. There's so many examples out there of that happening. With the team here, they have been building before doing the TGE for 1 year. So they've built for a year. They've built out Lumenswap. They've built out many aspects of it, the swap that actually work in the interface. And yes, there are some bits and pieces that need tidying up. Yes, there are some things that we need to probably redesign, yeah, and smarten up. But the fact of the matter is that we have an interface that links in to the Stellar decentralized exchange, or the SDEX. We have an interface that works. We have an interface that works. We have one that's clean, it's user-friendly, and it's simple. And that was created before any TGE. So that's another tick for me, where I start thinking to myself, okay, do I really need to know what shoe size Vladimir is, or which primary school Amir went to? For me, no, let me just judge them on the build. Let me, if they've built for a year, if they've developed for a year and they've done those lines of code, then let me judge them on that. And that's what I've kind of done. I get a sixth sense again when I'm speaking to people, even through like messages, you know, how people are. And I think that these guys here may not be, woohoo, it's me, like me now, you know, so you can see a little picture of me. So, you know, that's the Ben Colley that does the videos kind of thing. They may not be front of house like myself, but they are bringing timely development to the Lumenswap community. So we say to ourselves, okay, so how much does it really matter that they're, you know, going to such a college or got such an experience? If they're bringing it to the table, then going to give them the benefit of the doubt. That's my opinion. Some people are saying, if you're not going to dox yourself, if you're not going to say who you are, I'm not invested, that's fine. You people go. That's fine. If that's the safety net for you, if it's a safety measure, you people go and don't invest. But for me, it's one of them. I look at a picture of someone, I think, well, they could have just grabbed that off Google. I haven't got time to be checking out that that is XYZ person and they went to that, you know, school, and then I'm going to check that against like LinkedIn. I'm going to check this against that. Like, no, not for me. Like doing like, you know, independent sort of research on each person in the team is not necessary if we're seeing something that's being built out on their own time, on their own money for 1 year. Right. Next thing, price history. So we're going to come across and we're just going to have a look at the charts, the furthest back we possibly can, and see what this really means is, are we buying at the all-time high? Sometimes you can buy at an all-time high and you can still make a huge profit. But in the majority of occasions, I would say that's not a good time to buy. Let's just look at this point here. This is an all-time high. Let's just say 49. Yeah, so half to split hairs, half of an XLM. That is the price point that the LSP token has got as an all-time high. It's got to half, and then we saw this correction, look. And the reason for this is there's always excitement centered around new projects. New products come out, you know, and they've got a lot of excitement, a lot of new people come in, they're wanting to ride the wave, and off we go. Now, there's people that bought here, look, because the price went up, and there's people that bought here in, you know, substantial amounts, and the price went up. And then we saw this correction back down, you know, to quite a low level, and that's normal. That's normal. And then what happens is, you tend to get a lot of, if I just move that, there you go. You tend to get a period where we get the asset finds a price floor. So it finds its price floor and it ranges in a certain period. And I'll give you more examples of this, you know, as we go forward. But here we've got this kind of all-time high with all the hype, with all the new people coming in, and then it was a case of, damn, got to sell out quick. But some people bought in at this position here, Some people bought now. So now those people are what I call upside down on them, on their investment, because we're down at this point. We're about half. Yeah, 21 to 41, something like that. Yeah, 42. Yeah, you get the idea. We're about half. So they've got to wait until we get to this level again before they break even. So sometimes, as you can see here, it doesn't pay. But if we had been here and it was all-time high, of course, hey, like, you know, it's 0.16 of an XLM. Great stuff. You know, great stuff. We're moving up in price, and then you could have like made some great profit. And even today, you would still be in profit on your investment. So it could have been, but even though that was an all-time high, does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. There's sometimes when you can buy in and it's going to continue going. But when you kind of have a look at a project that's been around a while, have a look at what the all-time low is, have a look at what the all-time high is, have a look at the price history on the charts you can get going back furthest. And then you can kind of make up your mind how the price looks now against how it's been in the past. This back here is obviously the launch price when it was 0.00055 XLM, 70x out of the gates. So 7,000% out of the gates, straight up within just a matter of a week or so, right up here. And now it's been ranging in this kind of place that it's in now, sort of 16, 17 up to about 25 for the whole of September. Let's just say the whole of September, for a month. So it's finding that price floor, it's finding its valuation for now. Now, this is without the features and the functionalities that are coming in the roadmap. So that brings me to the next one, which is the value proposition. What is Lumenswap trying to do? And the value proposition is that people say, what do you need Lumenswap for if everyone has a the ability to interact, or the decentralized exchange is built into Stellar? So it's built in. So every project can use the API and plug in and, you know, go into this centralized pool of liquidity. You don't need to have, you know, a specific interface. But it's not that what exists now. It's all of the contributing parts of what are going to be the ecosystem in the future. So we're going to be having like the auction incubator, helping other projects launch auctions on Stellar. We're going to be having the AMM, so the yield farming, yeah, and the automated market makers. We're going to be having the lending client. We're going to be having some kind of NFT integration. So it's not just a case of what we've got now. We've got to kind of put our forward vision on and say to ourselves, okay, what are they looking to do in the future? And what we're looking to do is we're looking to help those people that are already in crypto. When we build the bridge, we're building two bridges that are coming from Ethereum and Binance Smart Chain. We're helping those people that are already in DeFi and crypto come across to Stellar. That's going to lift all of the Stellar projects, because some of the Stellar projects are not going to be in the sort of DeFi world. They're not going to be using the automated market makers, lending clients, etc. They're doing something completely different. They've got some other solution that they're finding, or so it's some other problem they're finding a solution for. But then they will be like, oh, we're so glad that all of this extra liquidity is coming in, and we are going to be a conduit for that. So that's going to be a real plus point for many projects on Stellar. This increase of liquidity we're bringing in from those DeFi networks. And then, of course, we're also going to be looking at integrating on and off ramps into fiat. So from the one side, you've got the crypto people. From the other side, you've got the people coming from fiat and, you know, coming into crypto, and then also, of course, going out the other side as well. All of these things, when you add them all together, that's what the value proposition is. We are going to be like a one-stop shop for anything that you want DeFi on the Stellar network. Remember what I said before about the token sitting, or the carriage sitting on top of the train track? That's exactly what we're doing. And all of our people in that carriage are all going to be sort of DeFi related. And anyone that wants to do anything to do with DeFi, lending, borrowing, swapping, trading, you know, anything at all in that, the AMMs, the yield farming and all sorts of stuff, can come to us, and they can get all of their the solutions that we are offering to people, yeah, on Stellar. So that's what we bring The next one is the roadmap and the white paper. If we go back to our documents here, we can go to roadmap, and then we can just click off. Were these timely? Question that you have to ask. Were these timely? Q1, Q2, Q2, Q3. So Q3 is where we are now. Yeah, end of September, we're just going into Q4. So this one was the 5th milestone on Q3. Tick. All of these tick, 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 tick. So as I said to you before about team and timely development, this is important because this is obviously the timely development I was speaking about. The 6th one, as you can see here, is designing and integrating AMM. From the news snippets that I gave you at the start of this video, the designing phase is done. It's ticked. That's already done. So this is Q4. So we're ahead of schedule. And the integrating is waiting, isn't it? It's the Stellar network is on protocol 18 beta. We've seen that, yeah, from the on-chain data that's available. We're just waiting for them to go, okay, and that's going to be at the start of Q4, I would say, sometime in October. It's looking very probable in the next few weeks. So that's going to be 6-1. Is that timely again? Tick. Done. So you make your own mind up, but up until the 6th milestone, everything is bang on time. When we've got 7th, 8th, and 9th, this is where it gets fruity from the 6th downwards, because the 6th is automated market makers. This is when you and I can start putting our liquidity pool tokens in and getting yield. This is the start of the DeFi in, you know, any serious volume. Then we've got the 7th milestone, which is the auction platform. Then we've got the 8th, which is the bridge between Stellar and other blockchains, being ETH and Binance Smart Chain. Then we've got the 9th, which is next year in the 2nd quarter, designing and implementing the lending protocol. Lots to be getting our teeth into. We've kind of done the early part now. Now it's the real cool stuff that's coming. So when we look at the roadmap there, hold them to account, hold the team to account. Have you done it? You said you were going to do it. We need it done on such and such a day. And as per the timings that they said that it was going to be released, that was released up till now. And it has my vote of confidence. It really does. As I said, I'm going to try and be as objective as possible. The next thing we need to be looking at is having a look. I've touched on timely development. I'm going to touch on community. So with the community, what I tend to do is I go across to the projects, Twitter and Telegram. They're my first two. Yeah, Discord to a degree. And some people say, well, you should use Reddit. I mean, you could tick off, you know, you go to the YouTube, Reddit, Discord, la, la, la. I tend to find that we all have 2 or 3 preferences. And my 2 or 3 preferences are Telegram, Twitter, and then Discord. Yeah, they're my 3. I'm not really, some people are like, well, why aren't you including Reddit? Reddit should be, you think, Reddit's more of like a specialized platform, I think, for sort of crypto peeps. It's not something you tend to be a mega user of coming into the space. Maybe you are, but like what I've found historically is people are like, what's Reddit? You know, like kind of thing. It's more of like something you get into with time to find some more juicy information. So I tend to come to their Twitter, and then what I will do is I'll have a scroll through, I'll have a look and say, okay, they're posting up until today. You know, they're posting all this stuff like 13 minutes ago. Why did we choose Stellar? You know, looking at the posts, looking at the different artwork that's there, you know, having a look. Is it constant? Are they doing AMAs? There's one going on in just a short while from now, so you might still be able to catch that on Reddit if you're a Reddit user. That's on Alt Street Bets. Then we've got you know, different giveaways and all of the other sorts of stuff there, memes. So yeah, content is going out. I'm happy that there's content going out. There's a good amount of followers, but that doesn't mean anything because projects can buy followers. Yeah, projects can buy followers, so it doesn't mean anything. We need to be looking at engagement levels. We need to be looking at how many people are retweeting, how many people are liking. You know, is there a constant amount? You know, are they actually getting out to people? Yes, they are. You can see here that there are a lot of people that are commenting, retweeting, and all sorts of things. So happy with that. The next step that I would do is I'll come across here and I will come on to the token ticker or the coin ticker. And then I'll look at what other people are saying, not just the Lumenswap mob, the Lumenswap team. Are people saying Lumenswap's great, it's the best thing since sliced bread, or are people saying Lumenswap is a scam, avoid? What's the general consensus? What's people's opinions? There's Jen falling off her flamingo. Sadly, we didn't have that live stream that we wanted today, but moving on. This is what she was talking about. So this is Andrew Dixon's cool NFTs there, the one with the cigarette look. And we go down and we go down and we can see that people are talking about, if I click onto latest, people are talking about LSP fairly consistently. Yeah, 5 hours ago, we've got lots of different comments. Lots of people that are behind the project, and it's generally a very positive vibe. So you can go and look for yourselves, but have a look at the ticker, whatever project you're looking at, and see if it's something that has a positive vibe, has a negative vibe. Volume, analytics, and tools. I always used to say 2%. Yeah, to my students, I would always look for 2% of the market cap that they're doing on a daily volume. If I explain this to you, if we come across to Lumenswap, we can see Lumenswap. This is CoinMarketCap, by the way. So this is an analytic tool for cryptocurrencies, and we can come across here. And this is what I was bringing up earlier on. You've got circulating supply. It hasn't any data in there. There's no data point. Total supply, no data point. It's just telling us the max supply. So what it's given us is this fully diluted market cap. Well, that's absolute tosh. I don't even understand, what we don't need that at the minute. We need to know what the market cap is, which we don't have. But I'm going to show you now how you can get that. We just need to know the circulating supply. Remember, the circulating supply times the price. We've got the price here of 6.3 cents. And I've got the market cap. And the way the market cap, I've got the circulating supply. And you say, well, Ben, how have you got the circulating supply? You haven't got it here. Because we use another analytic tool. The other analytic tool is Stellar Expert. This is a block explorer, or just an explorer. I can't say block explorer because it's not a blockchain per se. It's ledgers on Stellar. But it's an explorer to tell us details about the asset. Here's the asset, there's the asset issuer. If you need to put that in to add assets into certain wallets, that's what you need there. We can come down, we can have a look at weekly volumes going up, trust lines are going up. We can see here that there's more and more trust lines that are being added all of the time. This curve is going the right way. It's not that it's dropping off, it's growing in popularity over a period of a couple of months. We can have a look at here at the prices. We can have a look at the different trades and the trust lines. And we can say when the first transaction was. The first transaction here is going back to mid-June. Okay. Further down, we've got the asset holders. Well, when we went onto our roadmap, when we looked at our asset and came down, so not the roadmap, the actual asset on the document, my correction, they've told us the wallets. Yeah, they've told us the wallet addresses for the different assets because they are being transparent. Some teams don't do this. Some projects don't. We can see here that we had the public sale. We'll forget that because those 12% have been sold. So that 120 million has been sold. We've now got these other accounts that we can track with this tool. Look, asset holders. We've got this one here is ecosystem rewards. Yeah, this one here, the 89 is marketing. And I've added all these up and it comes to 138 million circulating supply. So all I would do is I would take my phone, I would go on to my calculator, and I would do the 0.063, which was the price. Yeah, just to go back, Lumen swap price, look, 0.063. And I would times that by the tokens, which is 138,849,000 equals. So the market cap is 8.747 million. I think you would agree. Considerably different than the fully diluted market cap. This is sending the wrong message. It's less than 10 million market cap on a project of this size, less than 10 million. So we need to bear this in our minds for a second. If we've got less than 10 million market cap, we're obviously going to have the emissions. We know that. We go back to the asset. We looked at this scale, so we know the emissions going up here. But we said that there would be a little bit further down. If the emissions are going up at this rate, and we say to ourselves, okay, is it possible that this could go to like 100 million, 10 times from where we are now in the short term? So 100 million, or sorry, what did I say? 84, did I? Sorry, 8,747,000 market cap. So if it went 10 times, it would be 87 million market cap. Is it feasible then? So then I'll write that down. If it 10x'd, we'd be at 87 million market cap. Of course, we're going to get the emissions still going up. So we'd have to do that calculation further down the line. We're going to see some tokens burn. Likely, we're going to see, a change in the token price. We're going to see not all of the marketing tokens used. So there's lots of contributing factors. But we have to say, are there projects out there that have an 87 million market cap? So is it feasible that we go 10 times? Is it feasible that this could go 100 times to 870 million market cap? We've got the auction platform, we've got the lending, we've got the yield farming, we've got the bridges, we've got everything of these come in, talk of the NFTs and all of the other contributing factors. Could it go to that high? Well, then I would come back across and say, right, well, where are we? The only one that I can really think that's got a lot of those features at the moment is Anchor Protocol over on Terra, the Terra Luna or Terra Money ecosystem, right? Anchor Protocol. And here, the market cap is 360 million. So you can see that, this is absolutely blown up in 2021. It's completely, different network. But we're saying to ourselves, well, there's 1 billion tokens. There's got a circulating supply that's a little bit less than ours at the moment. But, similar sort of fixed supply of tokens. And then we say to ourselves, they do lending and they do borrowing yield, and all the sorts of stuff like that. Is it feasible that we can go into hundreds of millions in market cap? And you have to say to yourself, whether you look at this one or maybe you come across and you say from a yield farming, automated market makers, maybe you look at PancakeSwap and you say, well, PancakeSwap's one of the top ones, Ben. It's in the the top 100 cryptos. It's not really a good one for us to use. Well, this one's 4 billion market, not hundreds, not 800 million, 4 billion. So it's way higher, way higher. And this one is, of course, an automated market maker. We've also got, that's on Binance Smart Chain. We've also got like Uniswap, and we come onto there and we have a look at what they've got. They've got a market cap of 14 billion. So 14 billion, 4 billion, you can see that these are different networks. One's obviously Ethereum, one's Binance Smart Chain. And depending on the different networks, we can have a look and we can say, wow, there is a lot of these kind of native, this is a Uniswap token, so it's on Ethereum, but these kind of native swaps for the network. Yeah, they are like the number one AMM for Ethereum, for Binance Smart Chain. And these are, huge because they've got a massive amount of total value locked. So they've got a mass. I mean, I think Uniswap's got maybe 4 or 5 billion of people's assets that are in kind of positions, yield returning positions. And Stellar hasn't even started that yet. So we don't know, do we? We're just speculating on, you know, can Lumenswap be the native swap or the #1 swap and yield farm and lending protocol for Stellar? Because if it can, then billions can knock on the door. So we can do 100x from where we are now at 8.7 million market cap. We can, of course, go much, much higher. Something for you to, you know, you can only kind of compare and make rough guesstimations, I would call it. But, you know, again, with time, you kind of start picking up on things and think, okay, well, if Stellar hasn't actually got this, you know, #1 or native swap, you know, who can it be? 1 or 2 or 3 different projects potentially at the minute that could be that. Lumenswap stands as much chance as any other. Moving on, we're now at the point where we say to ourselves, the experience comes in a little bit. Okay, so we've kind of ticked off. If we stop sharing this and we go on to the other screen share, which is back onto this one, and we share that, we come down to the bottom one. Yeah, or we've talked about all of the different things here. And the last one is your experience. You know, how do you feel? How do you feel? What's that sixth sense about it? Do you feel that, you know, the project you're looking at, whether it's Lumenswap or, as I said, lifting this up and you're putting it into another project, do you feel that it's got the legs? Do you feel that it can compete? I mean, you know, people say, oh, it's the next, you know, Lumenswap's the next Uniswap or the next bank. No, it's not. Because they are native. We are not native to Binance Smart Chain. We are not native to Ethereum. We are native to Stellar. And Stellar doesn't have that kind of thing running yet. You know, when we looked at the news and we talked about the excitement of Justin Rice and, you know, Stellar Development Foundation, and they're just on the cusp of releasing DeFi in all of its splendor to Stellar. You know, we're not that, we haven't launched to know. So we have to just kind of think what's happened on other networks. Is it what's happened on Avalanche? We look at Trader Joe on Avalanche. We see that that's, you know, hundreds of millions TVL now. We look at, you know, the Polygon whole ecosystem and QuickSwap. We look at how much is over there on that network. And we think, why can't Stellar, when they open up the DeFi, why can't it have, you know, hundreds of millions, if not billions of TVL? It's fast, it's scalable, it's super cheap, it's better in many aspects than any of those networks. When people are like kind of not, you know, maxis for their specific network, if people are like, look, I just want to make money, I don't care what network it's on, then Stellar's going to be an obvious choice. So they're going to come across. So when you use that experience, you kind of weigh it up and think, I think the good times are coming. Can the market cap go up? Is the team right? Is the timely development? What's the tokenomics saying? You know, what's the volume? Beg your pardon, that was the thing we were going to look at. So we'll finish off with looking at the volume. And if I come back to this down. We have a look at Lumenswap, and then we have a look at the volume here, right? So we've got 317,000, right? 317,000, and it's saying that it's down, but, and a big but, we are only looking at these exchanges, these 3 exchanges. Well, I know for a fact we're on 5 exchanges. Yeah, down here they've got 3. We haven't got P2P. Down there. Then we haven't got, what's the 5th one? 5th one, Biobox, Digifinex, Lbank, and slipped my mind. But we're on 5, and we're going to be on another couple tomorrow. So I think when we look at the market cap being 8.7 million, and I said I would normally look for 2%. So 8.7 million would be 10% would be 800,000. 1% would be 80,000. So we'd be looking at about 160,000. Yeah, 2%, 160,000. We're already at 317,000. 317,000. So we're already well over. We're at like 4%. Yeah, 4% market cap to volume. So I'm happy that it fits into my plus 2%. Don't ask me why my calculation is that. I just found that you want to be looking at that. Otherwise, if there's no volume in the trading, people haven't really got an interest, have they, in buying and selling it? You know, is there going to be any interest moving forward? Doubtful. Okay, so but yeah, it already ticks that box, and they haven't got the two exchanges, the other two exchanges that we are currently listed on. Oh, Hotbit. Stupid me. Hotbit is the other one, and P2P. So I don't know what the volume is on those, but it's of course additional. It's additional volume to that, isn't it? So we're well above the 317. So use these guys. I hope this has been of interest, by the way, but use these as all different pieces of the jigsaw. You know, you can go off. I mean, we haven't looked at like the Telegram, we haven't looked at the Discord, we haven't looked at, you know, any of the other sort of content channels that they've got on the socials. I've just touched on Twitter because of the time frame. This is already quite a long video. I hope that what it's done is it's kind of triggered you to go, okay, well, I'm going to include all of what Ben said and my own 4 or 5 things. And you may disagree with some points. Please put it in the comments below. You may disagree and say, no, I must know the shoe size of Vlad. I must know what primary school Amir went to. I must know what projects George Naylor's been involved in the past. I mean, maybe you are. Maybe you're an inquisitive soul and you have to have that information. But I was going to say, if that's like really important to you and you're not, you know, that concerned with the build, and you're not that concerned with what solutions they're bringing to the table and the value proposition, maybe you're looking at it slightly skewed, but that's just my opinion. I hope that you have a wonderful week, and I once again do apologize for the crap technology blunder at the start, stopping this from being a live show, but we will rectify that and we will bring you a live Ben and Jen show in the next couple of weeks whenever we get that ironed out. Take care, everyone. It's been great speaking to you, and I'm off to have myself a nice cup of tea, as we do in England. Take care. Bye-bye.